Hi everybody. Hi and welcome to Moni's Inspired Creations. I am Moni, and today's topic is going to be about 10 things they didn't tell you about blank. And today's blank is going to be spiritual awakening. So I'm going to be talking about 10 things they didn't tell you about spiritual awakenings. And I hope that you like the video. So if you like it, please do put that thumbs up. Subscribe, comment down below, tell me your thoughts. If you want to keep in touch with me or ask me any questions, please do send me an email. My email is in the description box and also in the about. So let's get started. All right, the very first thing that nobody talks about in a spiritual awakening is that it's never easy. Okay, nobody will tell you, hey, guess what? Just go out there and have a spiritual awakening. It's all gonna be good. But they also don't tell you the negative about it as well. A spiritual awakening will literally run you through the coals. Everything that you thought you knew to be true, it's not true. Everything that you've learned since you were a kid, not true. And that's what a spiritual awakening is. One day, you could be a kid, you could be an adult when it happens. It doesn't matter. Everybody's different. One day you're just going to wake up and bam, you're going to start on that spiritual journey. But the thing is, most people that talk about spiritual awakenings or the spiritual journey in general, myself included, it's a lot of bubbliness and positivity, but there's so much to it that is not discussed. Some people talk about it, and I'd like to just shed a little bit more light on it. So just so you know, a spiritual awakening is not easy. You might lose some friends. You might even lose family members. But hey, whoever stays, they're part of your tribe. And you know what? Those are the tribe that matters, because they're the ones that are flowing in the same energy that you are. And forget about the rest. You don't need them anyway. You're going to just glide forward in life without them. They'll catch up on their own time, and that's okay. Number 2. Most spiritual journeys usually start in childhood. We just don't normally recognize them. Some people will have like psychic and intuitive abilities, and they'll know that since they're a kid. Other people are going to go about their life and have no clue that their entire life they've been on the spiritual journey, and everything that has happened to them has been a result of this spiritual journey. Those people, including myself, that have been aware of this since we were kids have had a lot of stuff happen to us, whether it be just random traumatic type things or, I don't know, paranormal things, like, oh, there goes a ghost, or hey, look, UFO in the sky. Yeah, for those of you that don't believe it exists, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And for those of you that definitely believe in the paranormal, good for you. You are one of those that probably can see and sense other energies. If you've been able to do it since you were a kid, awesome. For those of you that didn't realize that you were able to do it since you were a kid and forgot about it, well, that's just part of the thing, that's society saying, shh, it doesn't exist. Ghosts don't exist. What? Talking to ghosts? Oh, that person is crazy. Seeing a shadow walk down the hallway? That doesn't exist. Yet you have scientists that are studying multiple dimensions currently, omniverse, universe, multiple dimensions. They're studying all this and they know that exists, but they don't want the general public to know. So they're like, shh, quiet, just quiet, shh. And anybody who talks about it are labeled as crazy or whatever to, the rest of the population. Number 3. Hey, look, I just talked about this. People will think that you are crazy. 100%. As soon as you start going along the spiritual journey, your mind is literally going to go, and it's going to be blown. Everything that you experience, you're going to learn about experiencing things from your chakras. That's how I pronounce it. Other people don't pronounce it that way. That's okay. For me, it's chakras. So no haters. Anyways, you're going to learn about the energy meridians in your body. You're going to learn about different parts of yourself. And I'll touch more on it in a little bit. And you're going to come into contact with all sorts of different people. And you're going to realize that every single person you come in contact in your life, there's a reason for that. Anything they say to you, there's a reason for it. And you know what? Some people are going to call you crazy. And depending on where you are in your journey, you might believe them. You might be like, oh my God, my reality. What is this? What am I going through? This makes no sense. And that's because your logical mind is over here doing the chatterbox. And your heart is like, hey, wait a second. Let's look at this from a higher perspective, yeah? Don't get caught up in that 3D matrix mentality. Let's pull yourself up out of that 3D merry-go-round, little hamster in the wheel situation. Let's pull yourself out of that and start looking at it from another perspective. Let's look at it from up here. Just look down and see everything. See that everything is a possibility. Once you get into that mindset, that 5-dimensional mindset, living from the heart space, following your intuition, who cares if people call you crazy? You have your own journey. I have mine. This is where I'm at right now. You'll get to yours. And you just leave it at that. Number 4. I would say out of all of my 10 little things here that people don't talk about with spiritual awakenings, I would say number 4 is definitely the most important. In my opinion, at least. So, number 4 is soul work or shadow work. Make it be your BFF. Your best friend forever. Work on the dark shit. Things are going to come up. You're going to find that, you have this like split personality. There's going to be a part of you that's like, oh, happy, go lucky, flowers. And then there's going to be a part of you that's going to be like, this world needs to be destroyed. Or whatever, You have a shadow side and you have a light side. And when people are going through their spiritual awakening, most people want to focus all on the light side, especially if they're new to the journey and they're just starting out. So if you're just starting out on your spiritual journey, you might be thinking, well, isn't it all about the light? Like, don't we want to give love and light to everybody? I mean, Monica, you talk about love, light, and blessings, right? So, love and light. Yeah, to an extent. The shadow side or the shadow work, the soul work that you need to do is looking inside yourself. Look at that inner child that you've neglected to look at. The one that's knocking on the doors of like your rib cage or your gut, wherever your inner child is. Okay? And usually your inner child's going to be in a location in one of your energy meridians that had the most trauma as a child. So maybe you had trouble with family members loving you fully or accepting you for who you are, or maybe you had some trauma, like physical or even sexual trauma that happened to you. So those are going to be in 2 different locations of your body. And so that's where your inner child is going to be. And for everybody, that is different. Everybody had different traumas growing up. Some people have similar. From my communications with other people in the spiritual community, I've found that a lot of people go through similar types of traumas as a child. They're not the same, and they're not to the same degree, but it's like the underlying trauma is still there. It's like this inherent belief. It's for everyone, it's pretty much the same. And if you dig enough, if you question it, why did this happen, and keep going back down, you're going to find that most people have like pretty much the same trauma that they have to work through. It just manifests in different ways for everybody. So you have to really put in the work for shadow work. And it's messy, you know. You're gonna have mental breakdowns. It's gonna eat you probably alive if you let it. Because it's the dark side of you. It's that hidden traumatic part, the part that, you know, is just crying to come out. You know, let me out, let me out. I'm not being loved. I'm not being treated correctly. You gotta show it some love. You have to really work through the shit. And some of it is really deep and really dark, because some of the traumas are connected to like ancestral type things. So you might not even know what the heck, you know, you're feeling this pain inside of you, you know, this I'm not good enough, or unworthiness. What others? Trying to please others, or trying to literally be the best just to prove it to other people that you are the best. That all stems from the same trauma, you know, and you have to find that trauma, what it is for you. What is causing you to repeat certain behavioral patterns in your life that you've been repeating all these years? Some of you might have realized, oh yeah, you know, here I go again, just along that hamster loop, doing the same thing over and over again. And some of them you're like, oh yeah, I realized that, what the heck is this? And what did I really do that again? So once you put in the work for your shadow work, then you can start to heal that. So any of these traumas that have been affecting you over the years, you can literally work through once you work on your shadow side. All right. That goes into number 5. It's not all about the light. You have to hug the darkness. You know, accept that you are a being that is both light and dark. You know, throughout all sorts of cultures and all sorts of religions, you have the light and the dark, the day and the night, up and down, left and right, black and white, sun and moon. You know, there's this duality because we live in a 3-dimensional world where duality exists. So because duality exists in this 3rd dimension, we have to be able to incorporate both the light and the darkness into our lives. You know, for the most part, people are either on the one side of the spectrum, which is light, or they're on the other side, which is the darkness. But you are a universal being. You know, we are all one with the universe. And that's something that we need to awaken and realize in this 3rd dimension, is that it's not just a left versus right situation. It's not just black versus white. There is that gray area. Okay, we are that gray area. So we need to be able to incorporate the light side of ourselves with the darkness and find a perfect balance. Once we're able to find that perfect balance, then we can easily go through life. You know, manifestation, bam. I want to do this. I want to work on this. I am this. Your manifestations are going to be easy. Positive mindset while also working on yourself and working on anything that bothers you. Number 6, ego is a bitch. She is. She really is. Okay? Ego's part of that dark side of you. You know, I'm sure growing up, you probably heard from a parent or maybe even like a family friend or something like that who talked about the conscious. Here you have on one side, or even in cartoons, you have one side, you know, an angel, and the other side, the devil, right? So your angel side is like, oh yes, you need to do things this way because it's the correct way. And then the devil side is like, ha 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 ha, let's go do that because it would be fun. Yeah. So this side over here, that's your ego. And ego shows its ugly face all the time. Even people like myself who work on their shadow side and who've been working with spirituality since they were very young, ego's a bitch and it's not easily mastered. So you don't really want to master ego, because if you're mastering ego, then you're creating this imbalance. If you're saying, I'm going to control my ego, I'm going to make sure that it's not going to rear its ugly head and it's not going to control my life or my decisions anymore, maybe you should take another look at that. Because now you're saying that this side, your light side, it's like it's crushing the ego side. And then you've created this overabundance of the light. And so when there's too much light and not enough darkness within you, how is there a balance? You have to have a balance in life. And if there's too much of one, eventually that's going to happen. And then you're going to wind up going through these periods of ups and then downs, and then ups and then downs, and all the cycles are going to continue, because here you are not creating this harmony and this peace in your life. And harmony and peace stems from within. It's that balance of the energies of the light and the dark in harmony. The next one, number 7. Listen to your dreams. Okay, people don't really tell you that in a spiritual awakening. Oh yeah, listen to your dreams. And by dreams, I mean like your actual dreams. Your dreams, when you go to sleep, those things. Listen to them. Because that's the time that your angels, your guides, or anybody who is trying to communicate with you is going to communicate with you. Sure, some of them may seem strange and peculiar. Some of our dreams can be like, wow, I can write a movie script with that. That was interesting. It was pretty cool, but it didn't make any sense. And others, pay attention to the numbers. So if you see a number of different signs or a number of different animals, pay attention to the amount of times that you see them. Pay attention to the colors, the types of animals, the type of people you're around. Anything that happens in your dream is telling you something. And, some people will look up their dreams online, like, what does this mean? I had a bear show up in my dream. What does that mean? Was I attacking the bear? Was it attacking me? So your action in your dream also makes a difference, because with your dreams, the messages are coming across. And if you have an imbalance in your life, certain symbols or signs and synchronicities are going to continue to show up in your life until you address the balance, work it out through that shadow work that I talked about, and stop listening to this ego self who's just going to keep going on and on and on. Once you don't listen to that, you create that balance, the signs in your dreams are going to be a little more different. So if you're in a bad space, head space, emotional, physical, start listening to your dreams. Try and remember them. If you need to, definitely get yourself a dream journal. I know for me specifically, I find it really hard to actually wake up after a dream and be like, especially if I wake up in the middle of the night after a dream. I'll just sit there like, okay. I'm trying my best to remember this. And I wind up being lazy and I don't actually write it down. Mainly because if I actually got up and started writing at that moment, I would stay up. I couldn't fall back to sleep. But for you, if you don't have trouble falling back to sleep once you're up, go ahead, take out that piece of paper and that pencil and write down whatever seemed weird or obnoxious in your dream. And then try and look it up. Try and see what the symbol means, and then really try and piece it together, because it's gonna help. It really is. It's gonna help. The next one, absolutely anyone. So now we are on 8. 8. So 8 is infinity, it's connected. It's a continuous motion. Some people are life path 8, and that's awesome. But absolutely anyone can be your guide. You don't have to know them. You don't have to be friends with them. They don't even have to be in your neighborhood. They literally can just be a random person that you're walking down the street, you pass eyes, they say something to you. Has that ever happened where you're just, walking down the street and then someone says something so random and out of the blue to you and you're like, what? Are you talking to me? And they're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. That was their message to give you. Whether you understood it in that moment or not, that's the message that was supposed to be given to you. And absolutely anyone can be a guide. You're a guide to other people. I'm a guide to other people. Other people are my guides. You can also have spirit guides. You have your angels, the energies that are around you, whatever you want to call them, and people that watch over you from the other side. They're all your guides. A guide can also be a teacher. It can be your family member, a friend, someone you just go to for help. But they don't all have to be here in this physical plane. Some of them are on the other side. Some of them have lived here before and have passed over to the other side, and some of them are living in the astral, the energetic realms. The one that most people can't see. But if you pay attention, everyone has the ability to feel the other side. You kind of have to just, shut off your senses, get into a relaxed state, and just go with the flow. And then you'll feel it. Number 9. I totally had to look at my fingers to make sure I was holding them up correct. Anyways, number 9, listen to your triggers. What's a trigger? I don't know. What's a trigger? Any ideas? So a trigger is anytime you get upset, angry, frustrated, sad, want to rip somebody apart. Maybe someone took your coffee in the morning and they tried to make it for you, but they put ice in it for some random reason. They just thought it was a joke, trying to prank you. And you're like, well, I like my coffee hot. And you're really upset about it. And you just, that boiling feeling inside of you is just coming up. That's a trigger. Could be someone at work. Got an assignment due, work, school, whatever. You're in a group project and someone from your group is like, didn't do my work. Sorry. You're going to have to do it yourself. Right? Anything can be a trigger. We're living in a very politicized time right now. There's the debate of mask versus not mask. That is a trigger. I would say for everybody, whether you want the mask or whether you don't want the mask. That's a trigger that everybody needs to work on. So when you find your triggers, whatever it may be, you're like, okay, I got my trigger. Let's use the mask, for example. The mask is a trigger. Why? Why is this affecting me in blank way? Whether it be angry, upset, makes me want to cry, or I feel blank. Okay, so once you have that why blank, you have to go even deeper than that. So if I feel blank because of the mask, why do I feel that way? What caused me to feel this way? Who Who might not have anything to do with it? What was the situation? Okay. Where did it take place? Why did I react that way? Eventually, when you continue to go down these steps, you're going to end up back into that childhood inner trauma shadow work little ball inside of you. And that's where all of your traumas are going to hide. In this nice little ball. Sometimes it's not a ball. Sometimes it's like sporadic all over the place. It depends. Yeah. Depends on how your energy is in that moment. Okay. But anyways, it's within you. So once you down the ladder steps within you and you try and work through those triggers, that's how you're going to heal. So first, learn your triggers. People don't tell you that. And I'm going to tell you that. Learn your triggers. Last but not least is going to be number 10. It will all be worth it in the end. When is the end? We're all infinite. Time is an illusion. Separation, death are all illusions. Our souls are infinite. Our soul can never die. You may not be a part of this physical reality anymore. Doesn't mean you don't exist. Doesn't mean that your loved one is not on the other side watching everything that's happening. It doesn't mean that, somebody that you've lost recently is gone forever. It doesn't mean that your boyfriend or girlfriend who lives all across the world, other continent, on the other side of the world, doesn't mean you're actually separate from them. If you love someone, if you care about them, your energy can reach them. How do you think healers are able to heal over thousands of miles? It's not an illusion of the mind. It's energy. Energy flows. And yeah, it's gonna be worth it in the end. If you put in the work and you work on yourself, you're gonna be living in a state of bliss. Truly. You're gonna be like, nothing can stop me now. I'm on top of the world. And other people are gonna be like, oh my God, he or she's on top of the world. Nothing is bothering them right now. Like, they literally just got in a car crash right now. Or, oh my God, they didn't turn in their homework on time and they're gonna fail. And their attitude is, I'm good. I'm good. So, it is gonna be worth it. Trust me. It's gonna be difficult. And the road is gonna be long. And the road never ends. It is a daily thing to be on a spiritually awakened journey. Every day you got to put in the work. As soon as you start to be like, I'm not going to work on myself today, shit's going to hit the fan. Let me tell you, shit's going to hit the fan. Your life is going to be like, oh shit. Maybe I should start working on myself again. And when you do, guess what? You're going to live in the sky high. Your manifestations are going to come super easy to you. Anything that you want in the life, bam. Because you're an all-powerful being and you're awesome. All right. I love you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you have any ideas for me, to do a segment on 10 things that they don't tell you, just let me know and I'll try and incorporate it. Bye.